Have you ever wondered what strange secrets history holds, hidden beneath the surface of our textbooks? Well, hold on to your hats, because we're about to delve into a world of mind-boggling historical oddities that will change your perspective forever. From a 38-minute war that left its mark on the record books to the bizarre tale of a Roman emperor's affection for his horse, we're unearthing the weirdest and most astonishing facts from the annals of history. And don't forget to subscribe, because you won't want to miss a single jaw-dropping revelation in this whirlwind tour of history's hidden gems. Number 10. The ingenious fake Paris of World War I. Did you know that during World War I, France built a fake version of its most iconic city, Paris? This incredible feat was all about tricking German pilots. The French government wanted to protect the real Paris from air raids. So they created a replica city, complete with wooden buildings and canvas structures. The false Paris had everything: mock-up factories, fake railway tracks, and even ersatz rivers. The genius behind this plan, Fernand Jacoposi, thought of everything. He set up lights and lanterns to simulate the city's glow, even arranging them to look like moving trains. The idea was to confuse enemy pilots flying overhead at night. Although the decoy city wasn't fully utilized, as the bombing threat subsided, its creation shows the lengths nations would go to during war. Number 9. Forks. Can you imagine a time when using a fork was seen as a religious offense? That's right. In the 11th century, introducing forks to Western Europe caused quite a scandal. Before forks, people in Europe mainly ate with their hands and knives. When a Byzantine princess brought forks to Venice after her marriage, people were shocked. They saw forks as unnecessary luxury items, an affront to God's design. Religious leaders even preached against them, declaring forks as symbols of excessive pride and vanity. It took centuries for this mindset to change. By the 18th century, forks had become a common sight in European dining. Number 8. Oxford University's astonishing age. Get ready for a historical twist. Oxford University predates the Aztec Empire. That's right. This prestigious institution of learning in England has been around since at least 1096. That's almost 200 years before the Aztecs even founded Tenochtitlan in 1325. It's hard to imagine that a university could be older than an entire empire, right? By the time the Aztecs were establishing their capital, Oxford had already been educating students for centuries. This fact turns our usual understanding of ancient and modern on its head. Number 7. Liberty Steaks, America's culinary response to war. During World War II, America's distaste for anything German even extended to food. Can you believe they renamed hamburgers as Liberty Steaks? That's right. In a time when national sentiment was everything, even the humble hamburger wasn't spared. It was more than just a name change. It was America's way of taking a stand. Anything with a hint of German association was out. The classic sauerkraut? It became Liberty Cabbage. This renaming spree was part of a broader movement to support the war effort and show patriotism. Restaurants, cookbooks, and newspapers widely adopted these new names. It might seem odd now, but back then, it was a serious matter. Number 6. Mayans' reverence for turkeys. Here's something you might not know about the ancient Mayans. They really revered turkeys. We're not talking about the centerpiece of a Thanksgiving meal here. For the Mayans, turkeys were sacred creatures, embodying great spiritual power. They weren't just birds. They were seen as mystical beings with connections to the gods. In fact, turkeys were so important in Mayan culture that they were often involved in religious rituals and ceremonies. Mayan art and iconography are full of turkey depictions, highlighting their significance. These birds were more than just animals. They were symbols of strength and power. The elite in Mayan society would even take on turkey as part of their titles, showcasing their high status. It's a stark contrast to how we view turkeys today, isn't it? Number 5. The royal duty of King Henry VII's grooms of the stool. King Henry VII's bathroom assistants, or the grooms of the king's stool, had a job that was more important than you might think. These attendants did more than just help in the restroom. They were among the king's most trusted confidants. Imagine having a job where you're responsible for the king's most private moments. Their role included monitoring the king's health, especially his digestive health, and reporting any concerns to the royal doctors. It was a job that required utmost discretion and loyalty. Being a groom of the stool meant having unparalleled access to the king, often engaging in private conversations and learning state secrets. It was a position of immense trust and influence, often leading to these attendants gaining high status in the court. They were so valued that they were often knighted. Number 4. The unbelievable tale of Caligula's horse. Roman Emperor Caligula is known for his wild antics, but one of his most outrageous acts involves his horse, Incitatus. Caligula didn't just treat Incitatus like royalty, he took it to another level. He housed Incitatus in a luxurious stable with a marble stall and an ivory manger. The horse even had its own servants, but here's the kicker. Caligula planned to make Incitatus a Roman consul and a priest. Imagine a horse taking part in political decisions. Though it's debated whether Caligula actually went through with this, the story alone paints a vivid picture of his eccentric leadership. Number 3. Nazi Germany's reliance on stimulants in WWE. During World War II, the Nazi regime turned to a surprising ally: drugs. The German army, under Hitler's command, heavily used a stimulant called pervitin, a methamphetamine-based drug, to keep soldiers alert and delay fatigue. This drug was so common that it was distributed in large quantities to troops. Civilians, too, used it for day-to-day activities, like housework. But it wasn't just the soldiers. Even Hitler himself was hooked on powerful drugs. He regularly took Eucadol, a combination of oxycodone and cocaine, among other substances. This drug use reflects a darker side of the Nazi war effort, where human limits were pushed to the extreme. Number 2. Resourcefulness in the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, Americans had to be incredibly resourceful, especially when it came to clothing. As money was tight, they turned to an unusual material for their garments: burlap food sacks. These sacks, which carried everyday items like flour and potatoes, became the fabric of choice for many. At first, people struggled to remove the company logos from the sacks. However, manufacturers caught on and started using soluble inks to make washing out the logos easier. They even began producing sacks with attractive patterns and colors. This trend led to a variety of clothing items made from these sacks, ranging from dresses and shirts to curtains and quilts. Number 1. The 38-Minute War. The shortest war in recorded history, the Anglo-Zanzibar War, was incredibly brief but intense, lasting only 38 minutes. In 1896, this conflict erupted over the succession of the Zanzibar Sultanate. The British, who had a protectorate over Zanzibar, opposed the ascension of Sultan Khalid bin Bargash. They favored a different candidate, aligning more with their interests. When Khalid refused to step down, the British launched an attack on the palace. In less than an hour, the palace was bombarded, leading to a devastating defeat for Khalid's forces. The war resulted in about 500 casualties on the Zanzibar side, and just one injured British sailor. Following this, the British installed their preferred candidate as Sultan. And there you have it, 10 weird and wonderful facts from history that show just how unpredictable and fascinating our past can be. If you enjoyed this journey through the lesser-known pages of history, make sure to subscribe for more intriguing tales and insights.